How's it going, doggy people? I hope you all are doing well. Today we're going over another video by Jeff Gellman, or a couple of videos in this case. Somebody has asked that I give my opinion and talk about what Jeff has to say about e-collars and prong collars, and give my opinion. So we're going to do that in two separate videos. This first one we're going to cover with e-collars, and the next one that I do on him will be over the prong collars. So before we start getting into all this, I always like to say, I'm using everything under the Fair Use Act. All footage here is being used under Fair Use Act for criticism and educational purposes. I don't want anything negative to be said towards Jeff, nothing personal. This is just my opinion or my review or my response to the information he is putting out there. So if you're ready, then let's get started. So immediately on the screen here, the e-collars communication is what he says, in his seminars. Think about shut up as this. So I'm assuming he's talking about the e-collar when we'll see in a video here in a second that when there's a dog in a crate, he refers to the e-collar as, you hit this shut up button. So I'm assuming that's what he's going to be talking about.
You don't have a shot collar. What do you do to your dog? But I've got a leash on the dog. Great. Pop it. Or I walk up to the dog and I hit the top of the crate.
Jesus. So first off, I don't agree with doing any of that. I think all that is very cruel, very outdated, and very lazy. You can do it. I don't agree with it. If your dog is barking in the crate or whining and whatnot, and you just go smack the top of the crate, you pop it with the leash, you hit it with the shock collar, as he says, it's momentary claps. Basically, he's probably going to say something that just gets their attention, stops them in that moment. You're suppressing behavior. The dog is barking for a reason. This is why I don't recommend crates a lot, because so many people will just overuse it. They'll just put the dog in. They don't take the time it takes to condition the dog to the crate. They don't use it humanely or appropriately. I can certainly teach a dog to accept a crate. And if somebody asks for crate training, I can teach them through positive reinforcement. We never have to pop or correct the dog if they whine in the crate. I personally just don't like using crates because I never really have a need to. I teach my dog that they can be okay in like a puppy pen, or in a specific room. And there's a time and place for it. And again, if you use a crate, that's fine. I just hope that you use it humanely. I hope that you taught it humanely. Other than that, I can't control anything other than what I do with my own dogs. So I'm just not a big crate person. In some countries, they are being banned, just like e-collars or shock collars or any electric collar, including underground fencing, I believe, prong collars, choke chains, slip collars, whatever. So a lot of these tools are being banned for reasons that humans overuse them or misuse them.
Carry something. Annoying, loud.
Scary.
Great, and I want you to lie down. How do we teach lie down? Even if you use a food lure, it's slowly down. If you use a leash, it's slowly down.
But he says it like it sounds nice, but you don't teach lie down in the crate the first time you're using a crate. You want to teach lie down at a different point than then. And if you shouldn't use leash pressure, because he says slowly down. He makes it sound like it's nice, but really with him, if the dog is fighting it, he's going to continue with that pressure on that leash. Or he's probably going to do a couple pops, or he's going to apply the shock collar or electric collar, stimulation to the dog. And even if you just slowly down, a lot of times that doesn't get the dog to go down. You have to kind of, for me personally, when I learned to teach a dog down, is I lure them, put a treat between their paws and move into their body. So they have to curl towards their back legs and their back end. If I'm on a tile floor, they slide. So that's kind of a cool way that I like to teach on a slick surface. But I also, of course, practice and proof them on other, grounds like, carpet or rugs or grass, or inside the crate in a separate time where I can teach them to lay down in the crate, but it doesn't mean they're going to be locked up in there. But
pressure. And when the dog lies down,
it's not just pressure. You could say pressure. I could say touch when I'm explaining me punching you or poking you or touching you with a lighter that's on, or a blowtorch, and I just touch you with it. There's more to it than just pressure. And with him, if you just try to teach a dog to lie down using pressure, the dog is going to fight it. Until you teach them to give into pressure through time and conditioning and this and that. I mean, even with my Shiba, he knows how to give into pressure. He's very, very light, but I still would never ask him to lay down by simply applying pressure downward on a leash.
You let go, you either deliver the food reward or you let go of the leash.
So the release of pressure is the dog's reward. I would rather give them a reward, lure them with a reward, and they don't even have to use any leash pressure. They don't have to avoid that. I mean, of course, I teach leash pressure to give into it at the dog's pace and all this and that. You know, you could go to my, obedience playlist if you want to see how I use leash pressure. The reason why I teach it in very specific moments is because I want the dog to not learn to panic. That's their instinct, to panic and try to fight the leash pressure. I get that. I'm not going to, if they panic and fight against it, I'm not going to continue with pressure. I'm going to loosen up and we work a different way. You know, we slow down with training.
With a remote, it's shut up, momentary, hi.
Jesus.
Whoa, what the heck was that? Well, you're being annoying. I'm trying to talk.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, you're being annoying. I'm trying to talk. Screw you, dude. I have no sympathy for you. I mean, I don't want anybody else to come say anything to him. I'm not asking anybody to, but this is my personal opinion. Screw you. You put a dog in a crate, they're not ready, high stimulation, and you hold it. I know how you train. It is entirely unnecessary and, in my personal opinion, inhumane. Just the ego and oh, you're being annoying. Well, sorry, not to this woman. He's saying that to the dog. I'm just using the mouse. You're being annoying. Well, how about you don't have a dog? If you think they're annoying because they're in a cage. It's not normal for them to live in a cage. Even though you want to say they're den animals, they like small areas. It's not normal to be in a cage and to be locked up at a time when they haven't been appropriately exercised mentally and physically. And not just because you're drilling them on obedience. That's it's just asinine.
I want you to lie down. Turn it down. Continuous.
Jesus.
Pressure.
It is not pressure. It is static, shock, and electricity. And continuous is going to be just as bad as that very high momentary. And it's not just, hey, what was that? It's as if I got a pen and I just hit you with that much force in the neck, with one little point of that pin or a pen, and you're going to say, ouch, that hurt. It's not going to draw blood. It's not going to show anything. But that's the same thing. And then continuous is doing that lots of little times, and it just gradually gets more and more painful and irritating. And he's not telling you what level to use it at. The e-collar on. If you have to do this, then your dog is not ready to be in the crate. This is why crates are banned, because people will do this. They put their dogs in, they don't teach them appropriately, they don't condition them, they don't take time, they don't have any empathy for the dog. They put them in there, shut up, I'm talking, I'm a human, I have an ego, I have opposable thumbs, I'm higher than you, I'm better than you. You're my slave until I want to take you out again. And of course, I know the majority of people don't use it that way, but it's too easy to just put your dog in there, shut up, clank, close the door, just like you put a bird in their little bird cage, cover it with a blanket, shut up until I want to take you out and show you off to my friends. Crates can be a great tool, but the majority of people are not going to use them that way. Even if you mean well, you still put your dog in there for 4 hours at a time because you think they need it. They need to, because you think you've been taught that dogs need to learn to be okay by themselves. Okay, great, but you don't need to cage them to do that.
What's this?
No, it is not just what's this. And even if it is, it's not pressure. Give me a break. You'll figure it out, don't worry. Oh, okay. So now I'm just hitting you with this pen, or this pin, just tap, 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 and you're like, ouch, that hurts, how do I stop it, how do I turn it off, I'm panicking, I'm freaking out, and the more you do it, the higher the number gets, or the more it continues. Oh, don't worry, figure it out. He's not even going to help the dog. Just figure it out. The stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, you're not moving? Dial it up a little bit more.
Oh, you're not moving. Let's dial it up a little bit more. Still low. About to knock my whole setup over. Jesus. This is an absolute lie. that he's just using it low. If corrections are meant to be, if you use it once or twice and it doesn't change the behavior, you stop using that correction. God, this is just absolute...
Continuous. Dog lies down.
Continuous.
What do you know? Let go.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I want people to think of a shock collar not as this thing that we just blast our dog if they don't listen.
But that's how you teach it, though. He uses it as... it sucks. He uses it as shut up. He uses it as... he doesn't just use it as, oh, be quiet. Oh, this and that.
Very continuous. I always hit continuous if I want to short. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit the shut up button.
Hit the shut up button. This is the dog we're working on. We are in his facility with another strange dog, I'm assuming, next to him. This dog probably has 3 or 4 collars on. Owner is here. Owner is going to be so impressed. This dog is in a crate. They're nervous. They're overstimulated. And he's just telling this dog, shut up.
Right
Circling,
there. Now the dog is
whining.
Leave it alone. Don't do anything. Watch
Poor
what's going to
thing.
happen. The dog's going to sit down and lie down.
Dog is hurting. Dog is nervous.
What he's figuring out is all this
Stressing
stuff
that. Did you see that jerk there? That little reaction? Watch this dog.
without saying any words. What he's figuring out is all this stuff.
So he cut it in between there. Before that there was a little cut. Dog is circling this way. Cut. Dog is facing that way. In a second, it's going to be surprise. So he said this is continuous. In that cut, did he turn it up?
What he's figuring out is all
surprises the dog. Jeez, we don't know what number he's using. He said in the last video, oh, we do low, we do low. The dog would not jump like this if it was low. It either surprised the dog or it happened to move onto a nerve where you can't control your body. This dog is so stressed and adding pain to it and keeping it locked in a cage in a new area with strange people and dogs and smells and in a facility, and she's smiling because she thinks this is great.
And find the most comfortable thing to do, which is going to be bingo that.
Oh, great. Yeah, everybody's smiling. Even the dog's smiling.
So
and by that, I'm being sarcastic. The dog is super stress panting. He says the most comfortable thing the dog can find is to lay down. The dog was trying to comfort itself by whining, by circling, by looking to mom and dad for help. To me, this is abuse. This is my opinion.
That dog to learn to do that. And you can do this with a dog that's never had a shock collar on before. You do a dog that doesn't know down.
That's going to make it 10 times worse. If the dog has never had this on, and then you put it on, and then you just start zapping it, I don't care what level it is, it's still electricity. It still feels like a zap, or like a... I know this because I've used it on myself many times. It's uncomfortable, and dogs have thinner skin than humans do. They're more sensitive. They don't know what's going on. Why are they caged up? Why are they blocked up in this crate? Why do they have to have this electricity around their throat? This tight collar. It's uncomfortable. They don't know where it's coming from. They don't know why they're getting corrected. No one's helping them figure it out.
They don't even know down. They'll lie down in crates like this. Why?
Yeah, because you force them. You should never teach your dog to lay down like this. Your dog shouldn't have to learn how to lay down because they're just so confused. That's going to take forever for them to learn. Or maybe it won't. I don't know. Dogs, I don't give them enough credit. Dogs are very smart. They probably learn, but it's just... He does not even care about the mental state of this dog.
Because all that spinning is...
Shock again.
Spinning is awesome. And then...
Spinning is awesome. Wow, you're an idiot. This dog is spinning and whining. It got up and you hit the continuous again. And it is spinning because it's in pain. It doesn't know how to get away from this discomfort. At the very least, discomfort. But it is pain.
And he does that.
And down.
Got it?
Super stressful. Look at this. This tongue couldn't be out anymore. The lips couldn't be back anymore. This dog is just shut down. This dog is just... I'm so sorry, dog.
And, should I tell him good?
And
no. If you say good, what do you think the dog will do?
Get up.
Bingo. And
So, no reward. Your only reward, dog, is to not be shocked. Just get in there, shut up. He said hit the shut up button. Get in there, don't get shocked, no good boy, no comfort, no nothing. And it's so sad that she and her husband, everybody else that's here, finds this so It's you're brilliant. This is just mind-blowing. Jesus.
We don't want, now we have to say no.
And yes, she doesn't know any better, but I don't care. I was there. I've never used e-collars on my dog, but I've done this stuff and I didn't like it. And it doesn't matter. The dog does not care. He cannot choose the life he has. He or she. They cannot choose the family they're given. If they're rescued from a shelter and they're brought here and the only time they get to come out of the cage is if they're doing obedience or they have a shock collar on, that's not much of a rescue. And I'm not saying anything about these people. I'm simply stating that the dog doesn't care what your intentions are. The dog doesn't care that you are happy. I mean, they do because they're a dog. What about the dog's feelings? You think it's great. Well, I think you're an idiot. You need to learn what's okay for the dog and what's not. I mean, this is just... And I wouldn't just go out and talk to people like this. I'm not just going to go on a rant and tell people just because, if people come to me and say, hey, I've used an e-collar before and it has great, whatever, and can you show me how to continue it and blah, blah, blah. I tell them, look, I don't use those. If you want to use positive reinforcement, I can show you how to get away from the e-collar, but I will not use those. And I tell them why, and I give them reasons why, and scientific studies, and this and that, and then I never hear back from them again. Okay, great.
So obviously he's good, but there is
He
the theory.
doesn't know that, though. The dog does not know he's being good, or that he should just lie down to stop the pain, or the scariness, because nobody's helping him with anything. It's a guessing game, and that's a terrible training plan.
Of how does he know he's doing a good job? He's not being corrected for
Okay,
stopping.
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. He's doing a good job by not being corrected. That is a horrible life to live.
Stuff. I'm not going to tell you how great you're doing for stopping being a pain in the ass.
Well, then you're an idiot. You're a pain in my ass by just, oh my God, just talking. You're a pain in the ass.
It's sort of a given. I'll make it suck to be a pain in the ass, and then I'll make it unsuck to not be one.
Oh, wow, terrific. Good for you, Jeff. Good for you. I make it suck to be a pain in the ass. So he sees, let's see here. He sees this as a pain in the ass.
Now the dog is spinning, leave it
And she
alone.
laughs when he says, you're going to hit the shut up button. I'm on the dog side, okay? In all of this, I'm here to speak for the dog, not for ignorant people.
Suck to be a pain in the ass, and then I'll make it unsuck to not be one. There's your
reward. Not crying, not telling me that your needs have not been met. Accepting the abuse, because that's what it is.
reward.
Learned helplessness is your
So
reward.
when it comes to changing a behavior, that's the philosophy. When it comes to obedience, it's tons of rewards.
No, there should be no difference. When it comes to, in fact, the opposite it should be, if anything. When it comes to changing a behavior, you need reinforcement, positive reinforcement, if you want it to stick. You should not be using corrections, especially with behavior modification. It is so dangerous not to. I mean, do whatever you want. Go ahead and do that. You'll have a great bond, I'm sure, with your dog. I'm sure as soon as this dog gets off leash, and he doesn't have the shock collar on, I'm sure he'll come as soon as he's called. He probably will because he's a dog. And because these people feed him and he loves them and he's a dog. And when it comes to obedience, we use lots of treats. He says that all the time. He doesn't. He uses the shock collar just as much with obedience as he does with behavior modification. Yeah, the bonker he uses for behavior modification.
That's how we can shut up all these dogs.
Shut up all these
First 5 minutes of a
dogs.
seminar.
Great. Use a high-level shock. Get these dogs to shut up the first 5 minutes of a seminar. How about you go there without your dog? You learn how to train them in your own home, where the dog is comfortable.
Just like that, okay? And what
Look,
you've got to do...
the fast way is not the best way. Just because it works does not mean it is good. Slow way is the fast way. The fast way, your dog is just going to keep messing up and keep messing up. And guess who has to deal with it? The dog.
You've got to don't use this. Oh, he looks confused. He is confused.
Don't even try to be on your dog's same level. Don't try to use your emotions, because your dog is a sentient being and has emotions and needs as well. Don't try to put your dog in yourself in your dog's shoes or paws. He's confused, Well, too bad. He can deal with it. I'm the one who's confusing him because I put him in this situation. I got the dog. I know nothing clearly about how they work. He looks confused. He is confused. As he said, he's not just confused. He is stressed. He is in pain. He is frightened. And the least we could do is help him. But no, he'll figure it out.
Don't worry, because pretty soon, next time he gets up and you just tap this button, boom, he goes right down.
Pretty soon, he's going to develop learned helplessness. So that's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about what the dog needs. Ignore it and play ignorant, and your dog will develop learned helplessness and he'll become a robot, and then you won't have to worry about hearing him cry. You won't have he'll learn not to cry, so it won't make you feel guilty anymore. Just hit the button, he'll shut up.
And then he learns, yes.
Perfect.
It's actually one of the most fantastic things in the world.
No, it's not. For you, maybe. For owners who don't care how their dog actually feels, maybe, yeah, it's fantastic. In that case, just don't have an animal. Don't get a dog.
Back in your car, looking out the window, scanning, tap. Or you're yelling at your dog all the time.
Or you don't do either of those. You learn how to appropriately work with your dog and communicate with them. And you can use, God forbid, positive reinforcement and act humane with your dog.
All right?
Yeah, he acts like it's just the two. Either you yell at your dog or you shock them. Or they're just a mess. Okay, well, you're an idiot. So he says there's absolutely no zapping or shocking with remote collars. How do they work? Have you ever gone to plug something in and you accidentally got a little spark and you saw a light and you said, ouch? And it felt like maybe like a pinch or like a poke on your finger, because that's the best way I can describe being shocked. You know, and what do you say? Did you say it was a stim? Or did you say, that plug shocked me? Or when you have you rub the carpet and you touch something and it hurts because something electric and you spark that electricity. It's not a lot. It's probably not even 1 amp or volt or whatever it is. Have you ever put a 9-volt battery to your tongue, a fresh one? It hurts. You feel the electricity running. It is a zap or a shock. How do these collars work without doing that? I'm not saying you're getting electrocuted. For folks to say there is, you are actually lying to the public and using scare tactics and misinformation. So he's gaslighting me. He's gaslighting us, who actually, it's the opposite way. He's the one who's lying. He's the one who's trying to use scare tactics and misinformation. Jesus, dude, really? This is why the public is so confused.
Oh my God, these are powerful. Shit.
Yeah, how do you think the dog feels? The dog doesn't know what level it's at. He doesn't know when it's coming. He doesn't know how long it's going to be. The red means he's shocking himself, by the way. I have used a mini educator on myself with a collar that had not 2, but 4 prongs on it, which is why the dog was so messed up to begin with. But I was retraining another dog and I tried their e-collar on, and it was this technology and this and that. And I will say, honestly, I did not feel it until 6. And it goes up to 100. On other, shock collars that I'll probably put in this video myself. I've done it before on my channel, but, I felt it pretty much at 1 and 2. So everybody says, humans don't feel it till 12 or 15. I felt it at 6. Dogs have yelped at 1 or 2.
Oh, no wonder. It's on friggin' boost. Who the hell put it on boost?
You did. Because you like to have continuous and boost. When you set up an e-collar on your tutorial, you have 1 button for the continuous versus just 1 stim, which is just 1 poke worth, and no matter how long you press the button, it stops. You have it on continuous or boost, which means it can go 10 higher, 20 higher, 30 higher, whoever knows.
John.
It was at 40.
It was at 40, yeah. So if you had it on 40, that means it was on a dog at 40 at some point. Why else would it be at that number? I mean, you're not practicing with humans. I assume it was on a dog at 40.
Like, why is 15 so high? Well, first of all, I was working him on 4. Nothing.
It doesn't matter because you're not a dog. The dog cannot tell you if he feels it. And if you're working him on 4, then 4 is equivalent enough to hurt enough to make him do what you want him to do.
Light first because they're going to be confused if they don't know. So the green flashing light just means that the collar is on.
Red means that he's hitting the button.
The
But he's not using continuous. Which is all he ever does with other dogs, is continuous. He's using the one little tap. That's a big difference from one tap to continuous. That builds.
Where's the light? At the top or the bottom?
It's at the top.
Oh, good.
So they're seeing green and red flashes, so I just want...
Which means I'm hitting the
That's
bottom.
a simple little tap. That's not continuous.
It's on 10. And I'm not going to lie to you guys.
Oh, no, of course not. Because only I would do that, right? Only the people that you're trying to gaslight and saying that we're the ones who are gaslighting and lying. Now, you're trying to make it look nice, but this is not how you use it, and it doesn't matter. 10 on a dog can make many dogs yelp. Because it startles them, because it hurts, because of whatever. These are banned in several countries. There is jail time for using just a metal prong collar on a dog. In South Africa. And you're acting like, if they're so nice, why do they go up to 100? Why don't they, if you don't need to go any higher than 20, say, why don't they limit them to 20 at the same power level as this? There's some you can get for $20, like you can get an e-collar for $20, and it goes up to either 100 or goes up to levels like 15 or 25, and it's a major jump between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so on and so forth. This has very, very small changes. That's why I said, I will admit that I felt this, I didn't feel it until 6, whereas other ones I felt it at 1 and 2 immediately. Either way, you don't need it. If you're going to use one of these, put it on yourself in the exact spot, the exact tightness, and the exact context you wish to use it with your dog. If you want your dog to shut up in a crate, put yourself in a crate, put the collar around your neck, have somebody else in charge of the number, and anytime they want you to shut up, they can hit you with it. Or you can go somewhere where you're nervous, and you're reacting, and they can shock you and see how you feel. Because that's what you're doing to your dog.
Yes. Was it uncomfortable? No.
Well, you didn't have it on continuous. The dog... We can't ask the dog if it was uncomfortable or not. You're also doing this as a demonstration. You're not just sitting chilling. You know exactly when it's coming. You're not going to hold it until it's uncomfortable. I could admit that even 10 probably wouldn't be too uncomfortable, but I felt it at 6. It probably, if you held it on continuous at 10, it wouldn't be too comfortable. It would be noticeable. For me. It doesn't matter if your neck moves or not. I've had them on where my neck will twitch, my whole head will twitch, and it really doesn't hurt that much. But then you can move it to another part, and it's really powerful. And it's not always the same place, and you don't know exactly where it's going to go on the dog. And it doesn't matter. You don't need it. If there's any risk of this getting in the wrong spot, this is how it works, is by using electric stimulation. I don't know how else to explain it. That's how it works. It is a correction. It is an aversion. The dog does it because they're trying to release the pressure or the pain or whatever you want to call it. And their reward is not getting shocked or stimmed or whatever you want to call it. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I'm going to do the prong collar part, next, but I'll probably cover another video in between this, just so I don't completely melt my brain into nothing. I'm very passionate about this because I'm very passionate and protective over animals, and this is just nonsense. But you can do that if you want. If you want to follow him, by all means. So, for those who asked to watch this video, I hope you enjoyed. I hope I didn't scare you too much. I get really worked up, and I think everybody who watches me knows that by now. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the suggestion. Hope you all are having a wonderful day. Go love on your little fur babies. I'm going to go do that now. Love on my babies, which are all asleep except for my gecko. She's awake now and she's staring at me for crickets, so I'm going to go hang out with her. Take care, and until next time, stay positive.